What it is, it's your boy Dutch the Damon, and you now watching Damon Time with Dutch. On today's episode of Prison Stories Uncut, we down Jessup and Patuxent with it, man. Now, this situation took place over 20 some odd years ago, right? They had me down there trapped in Jessup. And just like my previous video that I talked about Patuxent in that program, I was down there in the youth offender program, right? We had to go to a group meeting every week, and once a week, somebody would tell their story. And you had the sitting group with the doctors that ran the program down there, because Patuxent was ran by doctors. And you sit and you listen to the person's story and wouldn't let them up to this point. Yeah, Patuxent was ran by doctors. You had to be court-ordered to go down there in that youth offender program. But anyway, when you're in a youth offender program, you got to live in the community. So we was on E2. Everybody on that tier was in the program, right? We lived like in a community, program community, away from the other inmates in the prison. So it was only one white boy in that whole program, right? Chubby, heavyset white boy, shoulder-length blonde hair, wear glasses, quiet as a church mouse, don't talk, stay to himself. I can remember how he used to get up early in the morning and go in the day room and watch cartoons when there wasn't nobody else really worried about the TV. That's what he would do. If you like me, you want him to get up early in the morning and go call your peoples, say good morning and stuff like that. He up watching Tom and Jerry. But anyway, he would do that, but the rest of the day, he wouldn't touch the TV. He would just sit off in the corner and read his little Harry Potter books and shit like that, right? You reading Harry Potter, grown man. But anyway, like I said in the program, everybody got to tell their story. Eventually, you got 6 months to tell your story, but everybody got to tell their story eventually. But once a week, somebody new tell their story, right? Now, at this point, I hadn't heard everybody's stories but this white boy. He would not talk. I didn't even told my story by this point. And I told myself I was going to be last. I ended up going on here and telling my story, but he still was the only one who haven't told their story yet, right? But you know, I wasn't nosy. I wanted to know what the hell was he in here for. I can remember the doctors calling his ass like Nick or something like that. But when the little Chinese doctor asked him did he want to share his story this week, he was the only one left that didn't share his story. You could see the worry on his face. He really didn't want to tell his story, right? But he leaned up in his chair, rubbed his hands on both his knees and was like, all right, I'll tell my story. Now I'm like, oh, okay, got action. Cause I thought he was going to refuse. He like, no, I'm going to go ahead and tell the story or whatever, right? So he started off by talking about how he grew up out in Baltimore County, Orange Mills area. His dad was a firefighter, and his mom was like a clerk in the courthouse or something like that. Good family, good jobs, good community. So he started explaining how he started experimenting with drugs and hanging out with these guys around his age. They was hoppers. They was fucking with that meth real hard, right? Got him hooked. So him not wanting his parents to know what's going on with him, he wasn't asking his people for no money. He started doing what they was doing for money, breaking the houses and shit like that. Stealing anything that ain't nailed down. Any low down, greasy crime you can think of, he was doing it. Him and his little homeboys, they end up getting caught. Because of their age, they get sent to Charles Hickey, Hot jail or whatever. Now, this where the story gets interesting. He get to explaining why he's in the drugs. Why he's in the jail. He weans himself out the drugs and stuff like that. Get himself clean, get himself together. Start going to school. They was mandatory school and stuff like that. So long story short, he say once he got clean, he just started getting all these sexual urges, right? Out of nowhere, uncontrollably. Say he couldn't even control them. And he said he think it was due to him withdrawing. This man said he was so hypersexual one day, he was in class at the school in the jail. He said when class was over and all the students was getting up, leaving up out the classroom, he stayed behind and act like he was working real hard on something, right? Sitting at the desk. The teacher was still sitting behind the desk, not paying no mind, thinking everybody got up and rolled about the class. So when she looked up, he's still sitting there. So she questioned him like, it's time for you to go, you know what I mean? Finish that later. Sitting at the desk like, all right, just give me 1 more minute, I'm almost done. She like, nah, you ain't getting no 1 more minute. Class is over for the day, go back, you can come pick up where you left off at tomorrow. So he like, all right, but the whole time he was really stalling her out, right? So when he see that the coast is clear and ain't nobody lingering around by the door, he gets up, act like he about to walk out the classroom, but when he get to the door, he closed the door and lock it. And now she in there with him. He didn't really want to go in detail the way he did, but it was pretty clear once he was finished telling that story that he basically knocked the girl out and took that. Now, at this point, he was sitting in Patuxent, 2 chairs over from me, with 69 years in the youth program. Now, at this point, we all looking at this man like, what in the hell? Needless to say, after he told that story, he packed his bags and checked in that night. And we ain't say nothing to the man, ain't do nothing to the man. It was just his guilty conscience. He would not want to be around us, knowing we knew what the hell he done did. So he went on here and got out of there. But it's good that he did, because it was already a play in motion for his ass. But he knew that.